Well, they're all waiting on us. Here we go. It's time for postgame. My gosh. My goodness. Oh, am I ready? Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're on. Yeah, wait. Oh, go ahead, Rudy. Say something. Say something. Hello, 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 hello. Say something. There we go.
No,
Okay. Yeah, I hear you.
you do. I don't hear you.
I hear me. You don't hear yourself? Say something.
Nothing.
I hear you loud and clear. Can y'all hear Rudy? Tell us if you can hear him. You don't hear in your headphones? I hear you in my headphones.
cool.
That's weird. You know what? Hey, I look like Texas right now in the third quarter. I'm producing like Texas played the third quarter. My God.
We're drinking White Claw in honor of how soft Texas looked in the second half.
Good Lord, dude. What an emotional roller coaster of a game. The Longhorns win. I'm going to try to be positive.
You got to be positive.
It's another talent fee we'll get from Orlando Kell next week. So I'm happy about that.
Shout out to Orlando Kell, baby.
Yeah, man.
That was the only thing
Unbelievable.
I was like, hey, man, if Texas loses this game, we're done getting this. Getting this gas money.
No, I got to go out and find me another sponsor. Maybe we can do an Aggies post game. Oh wait,
don't get me started on them.
Man, there's so many angles to take on this game. I'm not even sure which one's the right one. Well,
let's start from the beginning.
All right.
It started off like we thought. Like before we get to the negative, it started off like we thought. Like Texas came out, had a punt return, looked dominant, was getting stops. Defense looked like they
scored in 2 plays on offense.
I mean? So let's start there.
Okay. Well, I mean, look, let me say that. Okay, let's start right there. Let me say this. I ain't changing any of my opinions before the game or in the first half. The Longhorns showed early in the game that they have the talent.
And that Arizona State didn't belong.
Against Arizona State, that clearly one of the teams out here is far superior than the other.
Right.
And that was quite evident in the first quarter when Texas got the punt return, scored on 2 freaking plays. Scatterboo wasn't doing shit. Arizona State looked.
You mean Mike Allstott?
Yeah, Mike. Well, shit, they made it. Hell, by the end of the game, he looked like Christian McCaffrey. No, this was a game early in which one team clearly is better than the other. And that's the Texas Longhorns, who do wind up winning today. Thank you, Roj, for the money.
Ruben Pacheco, thank you.
Thank you, Ruben, for the money. You can super chat us, and you can leave a tip. You can, if you want to do that today. My God. So yeah, they are far the best team won today, right?
Sure.
And that's the first quarter. First quarter it was 17-3 at the half. I wasn't even happy about that because they're so much more talented than Arizona State.
What you felt like, because when I got over here, you were like, it should have been 28-3 at that.
Should have been 28-3 at the halftime. But their quarterback leaves points on the fucking field,
so
man.
You want to go there already? You want to go there? You want to go?
No.
We want to go to Ewers? We can go to Ewers.
Well,
let's go.
Okay, well, at the half, I tweeted. At the half, I went on Twitter and I wrote something along the lines of, Texas is clearly better than an Arizona State team that might be a top 25 team. Maybe. They don't have top. Arizona State would have been 7th in the SEC. 7th. If not worse.
At best.
Because
5th.
they would have had injuries. They would have gotten beaten down mentally, and they would have played worse. And they may have finished worse than 7th, right?
Fair.
And that was so evident to me. And so at the half, it's basically, well, it should be worse than 17-3. But, Arizona State's not very good. Texas has the best defense in the country. And all the Longhorns need to do, find a couple of ways to score in the third quarter, even if it's a couple of field goals. Doesn't even have to be 7s. Score a couple of times in the third, and you can just kind of coast. But no, their weaknesses. The 2 major reasons why this team had to go to overtime today.
I think 3, but go. You give me
show their ass in the second half and in winning time.
What are the 2 reasons?
They have a quarterback who cannot will them to nothing. They have a quarterback who is extremely talented, who's won a shit ton of games. We've talked about he's such an enigma because he can make all of the throws, but he just does not have this higher gear that you need to get. Do you think he leads Texas back if they're down 17-3? If the Longhorns are down 2 scores in the fourth, do you think Quinn Ewers is going to get all excited and emotional and put him on his back?
He kind of did the first Georgia game. Remember the first Georgia game, they were getting their ass kicked and they looked better in the second half.
Yeah.
Okay.
When Sark benched his ass and he pissed him off.
So obviously we're going to talk about Bert Auburn and
You
Quinn
can
Ewers.
that guy is the biggest pussy kicker in the program's history. Yeah. Oh, he's made more field goals than anybody in the history of the program. Yeah, and he's also missed more clutch kicks when they need it this year.
But let me ask you this then.
And he will miss a kick next week if they need it in the fourth quarter. He'll miss it, period.
So if I'm not up to par, I'm Quinn Ewers. I'm not up to par.
Yeah.
But I'm still out there. Then shouldn't we be putting this on Sark? If a lot of y'all, most of y'all out there feel like Ewers shouldn't be playing. If that's the case, then isn't that on Sark? And at that point, if Quinn's like, hey, man, he's running me out here. I'm just playing because he's running me out here. So then isn't this on Sark? So that's why I would have three reasons why they look like they look.
Well, sure.
Quinn, Auburn, Sark.
Yeah, ultimately this falls at Sark's feet. And I texted you that on Sark. But you can't just go run Arch out there now.
No, it's too late.
No, the time to
week 6.
play Arch Moore was 6-7 weeks ago.
Right.
And they're going to get their ass kicked by Ohio State next week.
Ohio State is up 14-0 now.
Yeah, the Buckeyes are my pick to win the national title. And I would have, even if Texas had won 35-0 today, I would still be on here thinking that Ohio State's going to win.
First,
I think Ohio State's pissed. They got a chip. Their coach
they're
feels like
behind their coach.
Yeah, the coach. They got thrown under the bus for the flag spiking bullshit and all that kind of thing. And I think Ohio State is playing the best football in the country. But I don't have any faith that Texas beats them next week. But I could have had some hope
if they look better today.
Had they just kicked ass today against a team, they should have won this game by 21 points minimum.
I want to stay on this game, and that's what we'll do. But this is what I'll say: if we're going to forecast into next week, whether it's Oregon or Ohio State, I think they have proper fear coming into next week, and they play better. I know that sounds crazy, I do think they play better. I think they came out that first of all, I think going into the game, they're like, dude, this team is not anywhere near our level. They get up 17-3, and I feel like they kind of got lax. Like, we Texas, they're about to fold, and shit rolls downhill. And when shit started rolling downhill, they kind of like, you get caught up in the matrix and the momentum, and you can't stop the momentum.
Yep.
So I feel like they took Arizona State lightly. I don't think that's the case next week. And again, we'll talk about next week, but I do feel like they'll be more prepared and have that Coach Pop term, the proper fear. Whether it's Ohio State or Oregon.
Well, it starts for me with Quinn Ewers. I mean, I think the defense plays their ass off every single week and saved the day today when they absolutely had to have it. And Scatterboo had nothing more to give.
Poor dude was puking his brains out.
Texas steps up and their defense they look like the best defense in America when they absolutely had to have it. And Quinn Ewers made an amazing couple of passes.
What about the 4th and 13? Like 4th and 13, season on the line. Now, keep in mind, the receiver was wide open. It was a great route. He's just more talented than the DB that was guarding him. It wasn't a tough throw, but it's still in that situation. 4th and 13.
Right. And therein lies...
You drop a dime for a tutty.
Yeah, and therein lies the thing
that's the conundrum, right?
That's the conundrum. That's the enigma. I wouldn't be so hard on Quinn Ewers if he wasn't so fucking good. If Quinn Ewers was the UTSA quarterback in talent, I wouldn't have all these expectations. I get angry at Quinn Ewers because he's so talented. I hate.
Is he talented? You
yeah.
Feel like
yeah. He can make every throw there is. Okay. Absolutely. He's not more talented than the guy on the bench who he starts over, but that guy is once in a generation. Quinn has NFL ability. I don't think Quinn Ewers is going to have a long starting career in the NFL. Maybe he's a nice backup for a while. Maybe he's Chase Daniels.
Sam Ehlinger.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, he's more talented than Sam.
I'm talking about on the
NFL I don't think
end,
he starts. Yeah, right. A lot of it is because I cannot stand Quinn Ewers' body language, man.
Don't you want him to be cool and collected though, Mike? If you would you want to see him panicking after
not
he throws
when
that
the
interception?
not when the bottom's falling out. I want to see him out there rallying motherfuckers. I want to see him. I want to see him in faces.
I'm torn on that.
I want to see him running around. I mean, it's body language of the quarterback, man. Your team responds to your quarterback's actions. Quinn just runs the plays. Oh, we're down 10. Okay. You would
a part of me
you
likes
wouldn't
that,
know.
Mike.
Yeah, but sometimes, man, you got to have that emotional. You got to have that spark with the games on the line, or you're blowing it, or you're blowing a 3-touchdown lead like they did today. Go out there and stop it. You can stop it by making great plays.
And he did.
He sucked.
He did, though.
He sucked in the third, and he sucked in the fourth.
The turnover.
How about the interception?
No,
it was horrible.
The turnovers in the fourth. Again, this wasn't just today. Shout out to Eric Bishop, $100. ASU deserves.
Well,
props.
We got money coming. Give them all. Who else gave money?
Scatterboo is a legit talent. Ewers showed though, dude is a stud and can get it done. Props to him for doing that when
you're right. Correct, but they shouldn't have been in the situation, and he put them there.
They're in the situation because of him.
That makes me nuts.
So then at that point, go get us out of it, and he did that. Chris Nee, where's the rum at? $1.99. Appreciate it. Look, I'm not a Ewers fan. I'm not a Ewers defender. I've always said. Even last year, I was like, yeah, what are y'all talking about? This kid ain't going in the first round, which is why he's back here now. Yeah. If he would have got a first-round grade last year, we're not talking about him. We're not talking about him. But Martin Luther King said something along the lines of, you find out a lot about a man in times of adversity. And it don't get no more adverse than this. When your kicker lets you down twice in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And now it's on you and it's 4th and 13, and you got to stay calm in the pocket and deliver the ball. He did all I could do is judge the man at times of adversity, and it doesn't get more adverse than win or go home. And then he turns around and throws a dart to the tight end in the second overtime to ultimately win the game.
Sure, but why are we in that scenario? Why do we have to get him to the season's literally on the line now? Before he makes that great play. Make that great fucking throw late in the third quarter. Make that great play in the fourth so we don't have to go through all this. The other problem I have is now you force the team to play longer. All these offensive line have to get out there and have more.
As far as next week.
You're risking injury by having to play all this overtime and extra minutes and shit. Yeah. They should have been cruising, man. They should have been chilling in the fourth quarter, coasting.
That's on Sark to me.
That's fair. I absolutely don't. I don't disagree with that at all.
Like, your team takes on the attitude of its leader, and if your leader ain't got you ready to play, come out the second half, and like he probably, I don't know if he did or not. I'm sure somebody in the UT world that's covers that team daily and is in the locker room. I would have came in there and torn the paint off the walls at halftime, not because I thought we played like shit. But just so y'all know, we got to keep our foot on the gas.
Yeah.
They came out in the second half and laid down because they thought they were up. And that to me is more on Sark than the whole Ewers and Arch thing. Like, hey, why all year long they've had problems starting? That's on Sark. And then today, you let up off a team that you should have beat by 30. That's on Sark to me. Even more than the Ewers and Arch thing, because we could debate that till the cows come home.
Chris Need, $1.99. Thank you. Where's the rum at? Well,
hey man, where's the rum?
It's right here. We don't have rum today. I'm sorry, I don't have any rum in the house.
I don't want no rum.
We got plenty of White Claw.
Yeah, it's White Claw UT post game because that second half was very White Claw.
Oh my God, what are we doing?
Of the Longhorns, man. But on the Arizona State side, a lot of teams just get beat by 30.
Yeah,
a lot of teams get beat by 30.
I was rooting for them in the overtime. They deserve to win.
Though. That's who you are. That's your personality.
I like good football. I like good teams. I like teams that show me heart and guts and stuff like that. They got no business being on the field with Texas. Zero. And by the end of the game, they should have won the game.
I had a buddy text me like, I heard you and Mike, all week saying ASU didn't belong.
And they don't.
And we stand by that.
Stand by that.
I stand by that. They don't belong. UT made them look like they belong, but they didn't. But because, again, when that momentum starts, I don't care who it is. The Patriots and Tom Brady, I don't care who it is. When that momentum gets rolling like that, there's nothing you can do.
But there was. Quinn Ewers could have done something about that. Take this team and decide, fuck this shit. I'm going on a 10-play drive. I'm gonna kill 8 minutes. We're gonna score a touchdown and we're gonna end that shit. What did you do? Throw a pick.
Awful pick.
Awful pick. Terrible pick. Terrible pick. Terrible pick. Sucks. And their ass got bailed out. I mean, look, I don't like that. The targeting thing.
Let's talk about
drives
the
me nuts. Mike. I think the targeting thing has been detrimental to college football. It sucks for defenders. Oftentimes they get called for targeting when they don't even really mean to. They're trying not to, but they still get called because helmet to helmet is helmet to helmet. There's no. I've read the rule. Just trying to understand.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not going to call that targeting today, then let's get rid of the rule. That's what it's there for.
That was targeting.
Classic targeting.
It should have been a first down, and it keeps that drive alive.
Yeah.
Now let me beat up on Sark some more.
All right, go ahead. It's fair.
How do we get to the point where we're in the quarterfinals of the CFP? And Auburn isn't the guy. Like, he has a problem with this. Like, if you're on the side of the fence that feels like Sark should have benched Ewers a long time ago, well, then let's talk about him. Keep in mind, on the broadcast, they said, hey, man, ASU has gone through 3 kickers. Now, they still haven't got it right, but they've tried to get it right. We know, Mike, you've been talking shit about Auburn all year long that
since
this ain't
week
the guy.
1.
And it almost cost them today.
Yep.
Why? Again, first of all, it's a very, very, very tough gig.
Sure.
If anybody could do it, nobody would have kicking problems.
That's
it's
correct.
A tough gig. But why hasn't he addressed this? Why is he so loyal to his starters?
I don't know. I mean, how many coaches have to go out and grab the kicker by the shoulder pads and crack a couple of jokes and smile and be sweet because he knows what a mental midget Bert Auburn is. And the kid goes out there, okay, cool. Sark thinks I'm great. We're having fun here.
And not only that,
doink.
We took a knee and shuffled to the side to get to where you wanted it.
Right. Couldn't have been more set up. Horse shit. So, absolute horseshit. We're not happy today. That's the expectation.
We should be, though,
right? The
right?
Texas Longhorns just advanced to the national semifinals. The college football's version of the Final Four, and we're pissed because they should have whooped their ass today and gotten the starters some much-needed rest. That offensive line is so beaten up. Rogie Valdez, $5. Thank you, man. Quinn, pizza pepperoni for nipples. Ewers, in the words of Day, you ain't got to live here. I do. When you going home? Can't wait for Ewers to leave.
He'll be in Oregon next year.
Does Dan Lanning want that? Do you want Quinn Ewers? Yes. You do? Yes. Okay. Ruben Pacheco, $1.99. Happy New Year, fellas. Bert Auburn has got to go. You can't go bring in a new kicker now. No, you're going to have to live and die with this asshole. Ed Bremea, $1.99. Thanks, Eddie. $1.99. EB, Eric Bishop, you read his $100. Thank you, Eric Bishop, my man. Chris Sneed, $1.99. Where the rum at? Eric Bishop, 20 more bucks. Respectfully disagree with the Arizona State shouldn't hang. Okay, Levitt is good. Scatterboo is good. Arizona State ain't going anywhere next year either. They've got a damn good coach and good recruits coming in. They're legit.
So I want to get to that. So this is Eric saying we're being too hard on Texas. Arizona State's legit. That's what I'm taking from that. Is that what y'all took from that?
I think is it possible to say we should be hard on Texas, but we should give Arizona State more credit too? Arizona State would not have been. Look, I'm not arguing they shouldn't be in the playoff. SMU should not have been in the playoff.
Boise State,
damn sure at the very least should not have gotten a bye.
Hell, no.
Arizona State should not have gotten a bye. I'm not saying Arizona State should not be in the playoffs, but they damn sure would not have gotten a bye. They're the higher seed in this game, and they're a double-digit underdog in Vegas. That right there tells you that the committee,
don't belong.
It's the system's fucked up.
They don't belong.
They should have played last week in the first round. Texas should have gotten a bye because they're one of the 4 best teams in America. The Longhorns should not have been playing last week. They should have gotten a bye. Georgia and Texas both should have gotten byes. But this whole rewarding the conference thing's bullshit, and it showed itself. Showed itself. Texas tried to shit the bed and lose today and get upset. But Boise got their ass exposed last night by Penn State. SMU got their ass exposed last week by Penn State. And clearly they're going to, and already we got reports now that the committee's decided we need to get with all the athletic directors and redo the seating system.
Well, you know what?
It's fucked up. It's stupid. That's what we're saying, right. Eric. Arizona State's a good team, but Texas should have beaten their ass by 21.
I'll say this about the committee. This is the first year, right? So there's going to be some kinks.
How do you not see that coming, though? Let's just if you win your conference, you go to the playoffs. Well, what if Boise wins the Mountain West? You can put them over the second place team in the SEC?
No.
But they did.
Right.
They should have known that. You got to be able to project that. But you're right. Fine. It's the first one. It's the Virgin Maiden Voyage. And now we know that that's a flawed system. Hopefully they'll get it changed in the summer. The fact that they'll get it changed in the spring.
I like the fact that they recognize that they got to make some changes. I'm cool with that. Like, hey, we fumbled. Mm-hmm. There's a couple teams that probably shouldn't have been here.
Yeah.
But I think a couple of those teams, unless Eric Bishop said, maybe Arizona State didn't go anywhere. And with all the money they have from these oil people, I don't know if SMU's going anywhere. SMU's going to have another good year because they got NIL money to throw around like salami.
They're going to be good for years to come because of the billionaires. This particular season, they should have not been in the top 12 because they didn't win their conference. If you don't, you got to win the Mountain West to even get into the playoffs because ain't nobody knows. They rewarded SMU because they had a good season, but you're in a shitty conference.
ACC.
That's the point. You should,
and they paid their way into that conference.
Yeah, and you get beat by Clemson, who gets their ass kicked last week.
Yeah, Clemson dog walked SMU.
Yeah, Steve Camacho, $5. Happy New Year's. Hey,
Jimbo EPTX brings up a good point, Mike.
Yeah.
Do we need to look at concussion protocol for college?
Well, I haven't heard what was wrong with Scadaboo, but that looked to me like he was concussed.
And yes,
in the NFL, he wouldn't have played again in the second half.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and again, props to that kid for fighting through. But if I'm his parents, again, the kid played great, scored a touchdown in overtime. I'm not knocking the kid, but I thought we were supposed to be protecting the players from themselves.
Mm-hmm. Well, college is a little different.
Well, we have targeting rule.
We do have a shitty targeting rule.
And then another reason that targeting call that we talked about a little bit earlier is huge, because if they uphold that targeting call, said player is out the first half next week against Ohio State. Mm-hmm. So Texas got over in two ways. They got over, one, because it's a starter that's going to be able to play next week the entire game, and number two, because it ultimately ended that drive.
Mm-hmm. More on Arizona State. And this is the intangible things that I love so much about football. This goes back to what I said 10 minutes ago. I was actually didn't want them to win, but how do you not enjoy watching that? What we saw today is what you see in sports a lot, where heart, resiliency, balls, toughness, desire, these intangible emotional words in sports, not all the time, but often can give you equal playing field with a team that's better than you if that team does not match your passion too.
Right.
And the Texas Longhorns did not match the passion of the Arizona State Sun Devils in the second half. In winning time, Texas kept trying to get the game over so they can escape, while Arizona State's out there fucking balling, trying to come back into the game. And that's a problem for Texas. Now, granted, Texas found that emotional gear in overtime, but we never should have gotten there. But I'm impressed by Arizona State. Scadaboo, good Lord. I thought I was getting ready to make fun of his ass after the first half, but he did literally everything for them in the second half. Unbelievable.
That's the best defense in the country.
I know, and he kicked their ass.
Yeah, he might have
in the second half.
He's been doing it his whole career. I think he's broken all kinds of records.
Sure.
Yeah, he's broken all kinds of records. But
cocky as hell.
Yeah, you don't expect to see that against UT. But this is what I'll say, UT. Screw what happens the rest of the way. You've made it to the semifinals.
Yeah, it's gravy. We're in gravy train area.
I'm going to give y'all the glass half full, Texas fan. Okay. Texas fan that hates Ewers. I'm going to give you the glass half full.
That's me.
You've made it. You've made it to the semifinals with a guy that you feel like can't play. So this is what I'll say, since we're forecasting the next week. Let me forecast in the next year. At minimum, the way y'all are yelling and screaming and crying and moaning and groaning, at minimum, Arch has to get here next year to this point. At very minimum, if Arch is who y'all tell me he is, then they should be back in the semifinal next year. With all the recruiting that Sark's done and all these guys that have come over to UT, come to the 40 acres because of Arch Manning, then I'm not taking less than anything than a semifinals appearance by Mr. Arch Manning, who everybody – look, Arch Manning can make all of these easy-ass reads. My buddy of mine went to UT, texted me like, dude, you can't tell me Arch can't make these easy-ass reads that Quinn's making without the mistakes and with the ability to escape when shit breaks down. So Arch can come out here and do this, but at the end of the day, shit got hairy and Quinn came through. So then I fully expect Arch to be here next year at this point. Or if not, it's a colossal failure with the way we're praising him, and I'm praising him too. I think he's better as well. So I'm part of the situation too. I'm just not gung ho about benching the guys. You can't anyway at this point.
Look, I'm not guaranteeing they win the national title with Arch. I'm guaranteeing you he's better than Quinn Ewers. You know, and if for no other reason than he just has an emotional. I like emotional players.
No, there's definitely some emotion coming.
Arch has it now. It's a cool emotion. It's an in control, chaotic emotion. I like that from football players, basketball players too. All athletes. I don't like the lazy look by Ewers. I don't like it, especially. But he backs up. He makes me look correct. And my whole people say, well, he's just calm and collected. No, I don't think he gives a fuck. I think he's got $5 million in his checking account. I think he's really good. I think he wants to win, but I don't think he's bothered by losing like he should be, because he would have that emotional body language that I want to see.
You feel like Ewers is, if this is the worst thing that happens to me, I've lived a good life guy.
Correct. He's to quote Tony Romo. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and I don't want that. The other thing, just straight up ability. He can't run for shit.
Yours, no, not at all.
Arch can.
Arch can, yeah.
Arch could have run them.
A low-key dual threat.
Yeah, Arch Manning could have run them into a position today. Literally, he could have ran them into a position where it kills clock, keeps the ball, and it keeps Arizona State's comeback from happening in the fourth quarter. Arizona State ran over 80 plays in regulation. 80 on offense.
That's a lot.
And that's on there. And a lot of it is because Texas couldn't stay on the fucking field because they didn't do anything.
Second half was awful.
It was awful. And the best player the most important player, deserves to get the brunt of the blame when your offense is, what'd you say, awful?
It was awful.
It wasn't awful because Jaden Blue sucks. It wasn't awful because Matthew Golden can't get open. It was awful because their quarterback doesn't seem to give a shit enough. He just goes out there. He just runs the plays, makes great throws most of the time, runs the offense, goes back to the sideline. There's no moxie. There's no intangible with him.
He's
just like a robot out there. I hate it.
Now, that's the one thing that we agree on. It is a different energy, not only in the stadium, but on the sideline in those moments that they've given Arch time.
Those kids go ape shit when he's on the field.
It's a total different vibe. It's a total different vibe, and maybe that's what it is.
Will Corey backs it up with the stats. Oh, I look, I can't backs up Quinn because of the stat. I can't say shit to the stats.
He threw Sark under the bus. He
said
Sark
for predetermined plays.
He said this was on Sark with play calls. And sometimes I do think Sark gets too cute. Sark, that's another knock on Sark. I think he gets a little too cute sometimes. And I'm like, okay, look, you're still Texas. You still got to find a way to run the ball. Especially if we feel like Quinn isn't him.
Yeah. And Quinn used to have all this like fucking swagger about him. I don't know what's happened to him the last couple of years. When he went to Ohio State and the first year he was here, he had like this swagger about him. He had this strut. He had this cockiness to him that I think is extremely important at that position.
Right.
Not being an asshole. I just mean being swaggery. There's a difference.
No, I know what you mean. I know
And for
exactly
whatever
what you're
reason, and Mike says it's because he cut the mullet off. I mean, but has he just turned into this corporate whatever guy?
Man,
And it's just,
we
I've
talked
got
about
so
this.
much money. I'm 22. Meh, I'm good.
We talked about
I
this
want
in
to win, but
overtime.
meh.
We talked about this in overtime. Like it was, and again, I'm all for NIL, but I'm saying at some point, if you're Quinn Ewers, you're like, okay, if I lose Arizona State, I still made $5 million, and if I want to, I can make another couple million next year. I can leave college with $7 million.
Right.
Y'all want me to care? And I'm not saying that that's all of these guys approach, because there's some guys, a la Travis Hunter, that want to make 100.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if I leave college with $7 million in my checking account, y'all want me to be mad about losing in the playoff?
Here's the thing. There are a lot of guys who could make $7 million and still be pissed off for losing in the playoff.
A lot of them. Tom Brady made $1 billion and he was pissed off all the time.
Sure.
But that's Tom Brady. We can't expect everybody to beat Tom Brady.
Right. I get it. But the obvious names come to mind. Let's see. Okay, who's somebody who's an overachiever? Baker Mayfield is a colossal overachiever. Baker Mayfield might be taller than me, maybe by an inch.
Baker gives a shit.
He gives a shit.
Baker gives a
and
shit.
Look what he's turned himself into as a football player. He ain't got no business signing extensions with a National Football League team that competes for a playoff and plays in the playoff.
No.
Baker Mayfield's he's physically limited, but he's good. He's talented physically just enough to where with the right mentality and passion and work, it puts him over the top. Here's another example of a guy who won a Heisman, who won a bunch of games, and I hated him because he didn't play the game the way I wanted him to.
Kyler Murray.
Marcus Mariota.
Marcus was really laid
who's
back.
A career backup because he also just Mr. Cool out there. He's just it's like he's concentrating so much on just the game and let's run the plays that are called. Has Quinn Ewers ever called an audible? Does he ever defy Sark?
He called a good audible on the touchdown throw in overtime on 4th and 13.
Over the middle?
But only because he saw the blitz and he changed the
good
play.
for him.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
We're talking about elite guys here. And there's a fine line, and I'm not trying to say he sucks.
No, he doesn't suck.
He's just not he's not the kind of quarterback that I want quarterback in my team. And at some point, here's the thing.
So you just don't like the kid's demeanor.
Not at all.
And that may not even be his fault.
But when you throw those shitty picks with the game on the line, of course, he hadn't been dominant all for 2 months. He didn't do shit against A&M. It took him forever to get rolling last week. He had a good first quarter in the Georgia game and then tailed way off. The defense kept their ass in the game, and they still wind up losing to the backup quarterback for Georgia. Granted, he's on scholarship at Georgia, so the backup quarterback clearly can play. I just don't think you can get all the way to the top with a guy like Quinn Ewers because of his attitude. Because if you told me our goal is to go 10-2 and go to the playoffs every year and everything else is gravy, great. Let's go get the next 5 Quinn Ewers. But you're telling me the goal is to win the national title. And so for people that give me shit for being too hard on Quinn, they told me their goal is to win the championship.
So then that's the standard I'm a
And so that's the standard.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Right. And you're not developing a guy who's on your bench who's clearly more talented than this guy. And, he's got more experience. Well, the kid ain't ever going to get any if you don't give him any.
He got 2. This will be his team for 2 years.
He should be playing.
We're going to get him.
He should be playing.
This team is
2 series minimum every week.
After next week, this is Arch's team. And someone brought this up in the chat. Now, let's say shit gets wild. Let's say shit gets hairy next week against Ohio State, who's up 17-0 now.
Yeah.
In the second quarter.
Buckeyes are going to crush the rest of them. They're going to roll the title.
Yeah, let's say shit gets hairy.
Mm-hmm.
For somebody who had an up-close and personal account of Hurts to Tua, would Sark do it? If shit gets out of hand in the first,
if they're getting their ass kicked next week at the half, it's 21-3 or something, and Quinn sucks. I think he would. I think he's got the balls, which is why I'm pissed at him now because but here's the problem. You haven't played Arch at all in the last month. He should
You
have
don't
been
think he's
playing
ready?
more. I think he could have been ready had you been playing him more.
I think he's ready. And I'm going to say why I think he's ready. He is the backup. When you're the backup, you're in every QB meeting. You're taking reps. So I do feel like they have him ready to play if called upon.
Yeah, I have faith that he'll go out there and be
live
competitive.
reps are different than practice reps.
Correct. I think Arch. I have faith that if they played Arch next week, let's say Quinn Ewers breaks his foot in practice Thursday and they have to play him.
Whatever.
He's going to compete. He's going to have some moments where he looks inexperienced, though. Arch is. You can't just expect him to go out there and be Zeus right off the top. But had you been playing him some here and there, the way that Sark handled the first Georgia game where he played Arch for 2 series, that worked great. It lit a fire.
It lit a fire under
Lit a fire under the whole fucking team. And they damn near came back and won the game in the second half. Oh, boy, this is a blowout.
This is 24.
This is embarrassing.
24-0 Buckeyes. Oregon. Yeah. Same old Oregon. Same old Oregon. Same old Oregon. You play somebody that, like, Oregon is the team that you get punched in the face and they're like, oh shit. Mm-hmm. They're not scared of our cool uniforms.
Right.
You know what I mean? Oregon is clearly that team.
Yeah.
And I like their coach. But, you know, for the shit talker he is, they can't look like what we're watching right now. So, Texas, I know y'all in the locker room celebrating, but I'll be watching this game because there's a 6'3", 215 receiver that looks like Terrell Owens and Julio Jones and Mr. Smith that y'all got to deal with next week. Y'all got to deal with next week. And again, the goal ain't to make it to the semis because you got the new and improved Julio Jones waiting on you at the Cotton Bowl,
dude,
which is
Jeremiah Smith looks like fucking Megatron. He's T.O. Yes. He's T.O. He's better than Julio Jones.
Julio, Megatron, whoever. But Oregon has a way of making teams' offenses look really good. Screw Oregon, dude. Screw Oregon.
Yeah, well, let me say this. All right, so as we get ready,
Ronaldo celebration, I like
that's pretty cool. As we put this thing to bed, the Texas team we saw today gets ran off the field next week.
They won't look like that next week. They're going to be ready to play next week.
You think the scare will light a fire under Quinn Ewers' ass?
It's just
Texas can beat Ohio State if they play the perfect game.
Like, you
know, and they haven't played the perfect game once this season.
I'm comparing Bills, right? Like I'm gonna compare Bills to football team.
All right.
Like Ohio State is my mortgage.
Okay.
Arizona State is Saws.
Okay.
Like, I ain't paying them this week. I'll get back.
I hope you're right.
Ohio, they're going to treat Ohio State like it's their mortgage. It's a
right.
total different.
I get it.
It's a total different aggressiveness and attention to detail. When it's like, hey, we got to move this around, make sure mortgage is due in 2 days. Water bill, you like, we're a little short. It's Christmas. I'll pay Saws next month. That Arizona State is your Saws water bill.
Right.
Ohio State's your mortgage.
Right.
They're going to be ready to play now. I'm not saying they beat Ohio State, but they're going to be ready to play.
Right. Eric says UT tends to play down to their competition, which is a mark against their coach. And they also tend to get bored. It feels like they get big when they get big leads. Well, that also falls on your quarterback, though, who when he senses that they're getting bored or we got a little bit of a lead here and we're kind of cruising and there's momentum now shifting to the other side. That's when your quarterback gets in faces. That's when your quarterback takes over fucking huddles. That's when your quarterback shows that body language that clearly he's out there, John. He's balling. He's got his chest and his balls out. And Quinn Ewers just robotically keeps doing the same things. And it makes me want to kill him. It drives me crazy. I don't want a robot out there. I don't want a fucking drone at quarterback. I want a human being. And for the last couple of years, he's just turned into this drone robot. He's very talented. He can make all the throws, but he is never going to win a championship. He's Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler had insane ability too. It was like, meh, what's up, bro? That's Quinn to me. Just too laid back for the gig when the goal is to win the title, as you've told me all year long.
Damn, Mike.
And you're right, Ted Cruz's travel agent. Quinn is going to play his former Buckeyes next week at Jerry World.
Oh, I thought it was a Cotton Bowl.
Well, it's going to be. I think it's the Cotton Bowl, but technically they're moving it over to Jerry World. Poor Cotton
I was about
Bowl.
to say, like,
no,
we're not playing in that.
It's
shit,
at Jerry World, but it is
it
technically the Cotton Bowl.
You can't just steal the Cotton Bowl.
Well, they did. The city of Dallas signed over the lease rights to the
that
name.
ain't right. I was wondering. I was like, they're not really going to play at the Texas State Fairgrounds, are they? But no. They're playing at Jerry World, but they calling it the Cotton Bowl. Jerry wins again.
Yeah, I was texting back and forth. So Orlando texted me.
What he said?
Holy F. We stole victory from the jaws of defeat. I wrote, dude, what the fuck? And then Orlando wrote, had zero business winning that game. I wrote, should have won by 21. You should go to the game next week. And Orlando, definitely going.
I know he's going.
Man. Yeah.
Yes, Henry Bevo will be accommodated next week. Bet your ass.
You bet your ass.
Bevo will be.
You're damn right he will be.
Jerry World.
Damn right he will be. Look, I'm going to root my balls off for the University of Texas in this game next week.
I just can't root for Ohio State.
You don't like them?
I don't like them. I don't even know why. They didn't do anything to me. I just hate Ohio State.
I don't like them. I don't like them.
I hate Ohio State.
I think they're going to win the championship.
Great receivers,
I think they're going to blow the rest of the teams they play out.
You think they blow Texas out?
I think right now, based on what I've seen the last 2 weeks, Ohio State beats the Longhorns 35-17 next week.
That's a blowout.
An ass whooping. But I don't want to see it. Texas can win. They've got to play the perfect game. And the quarterback has got to play the best game he's ever played. All right. Throw all the guys who don't agree with me on Quinn Ewers, fine. Let's just take a knee. It is what it is. You would agree with me. Yeah, most do. But the ones that don't, you would agree with me that Quinn needs to be the best he's ever been in his life next week.
Yes.
I would argue that if the Longhorns beat Ohio State next week, they'll play a lesser opponent in the championship game.
What are you?
Ohio State's the best team in college football.
What are you going to say if Quinn wins the title? Let's say if Quinn Ewers, for all of y'all, is holding the crystal ball in a couple weeks.
Yep.
What are y'all going to say? Y'all going to apologize to that man?
No, I'm going to say, awesome. This is fantastic. Go Horns. I love it.
Arch.
Can't wait to get Quinn Ewers' ass off the campus. That's not changing. They're very good. They have the best defense in the country. We'll see how banged up they are. They were pretty banged up today. They got offensive line issues. They've got three guys. Pretend that everybody's healthy. They got three guys on the offensive line that are going to be in the NFL. Quinn Ewers is going to the NFL. All four of their starting secondary members are going to the league. Both two linebackers, two of the front seven. There's 15 kids on this team going to go to the NFL. They can beat Ohio State if they play the perfect game. They're capable of winning the national championship. I just don't think they're going to. And however it shakes down, you and I are going to overreact to it.
So we got one more
next week.
At least one more
next week.
They already got the time and date.
Do they?
I don't know.
I don't know if they do or not. I'm not sure. I haven't seen it yet. Look, I'm. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Quinn's great. He's talented. Well, okay, he's supremely talented. I don't think he's a great football player. He's a very good one.
That shit in overtime.
They need great.
That shit in overtime was elephant nuts. I'm not, and I feel like Art should be starting too.
Well, way to go, elephant nuts against Arizona State. Woo! A team that you have four times the talent. 4 times. Scatterboy ain't gonna do shit in the NFL.
No.
Quarterback ain't going to the NFL.
No.
They got like 3 kids total that might play in the league. Texas has 15. 15. And you had to go to 2 overtimes to beat these people. But yeah, you went big nuts, but you did go big nuts against a JV team. An inferior team. Ain't gonna have chance. You got to be big nuts from the opening kickoff through the end of regulation next week and in overtime.
That's on your coach.
You got to be big nuts every effing play next week, or you're gonna get run off the field.
Kirby Smart, Urban Meyer, Lou Holtz.
Yeah.
There's a few more coaches I'm probably leaving out. Bobby Bowden, Jimmy Johnson. They understand how to get their teams ready to play no matter who they're playing. Sark has to figure that out. Sark has yet to be able to figure that out. How do I get these guys? How do I keep this team? Because there's moments in every game where you see UT play and you're like, holy shit, this is the best team in the country. And then there's parts in every game where like, how do these guys end up playing? How did these guys end up, damn near winning the SEC? So that it's Jekyll and Hyde, and Sark has yet to figure that out. And I think if UT gives him the time, because he's done such a good job of recruiting, I think they will. Over time, he may figure that out, but he's yet to figure that out. Like, how do I have them locked in from minute 1 to minute 60? He's yet to do that.
Right. All right, y'all. Love y'all hard. Thank you. The Longhorns did win. Negative Taylor.
It felt like they lost the way we did our show.
Well, I've got high expectations. At the end of the day, this team just advanced to the national semifinal.
Dude.
Pretty good. Pretty badass.
And they were in the playoff last year.
And they've still only been beaten by the same team twice. They've beaten everybody else.
They've only lost to Georgia.
I understand.
We make it seem like they just lost to Boise State.
Well, they damn near lost to Arizona State, who I'm not sure is better than Boise, by the way. I'm not sure they are. They're about the same, same category. You think Scadaboo's better than Ashton Genty?
No.
He didn't do shit last night till it was just a bunch of garbage time stats. Mm-hmm. All right, we're done. That's it. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank y'all for watching this show. Thanks for those that have supported it all season. We got at least one more to go. Hell, I may go up for the game if I can get tickets. Or I might just go watch the game with my dad or something. I'm excited. I'm excited at the games at Jerry World. And hell, I may just go bum rush a tailgate or something. See how it goes.
And New Orleans, awful.
Oh, geez. Well, yeah.
Awful.
Look,
I guess we'll get into this on In the Building.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to make sure we brought it up. Very, very sad situation, which is affected, as you let me know, affected the CFP because they moved the Georgia
to tomorrow.
They moved that game to tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Awful situation. Bourbon Street, 10, 15 people dead, 30 more injured. We're living in crazy times, man. But I just wanted to, I know we'll talk about it more tomorrow, but I did want to make sure we brought it up.
Yes, I'm glad you did. Yeah. So the Notre Dame game, God, it's about to be 31-0.
Damn, Ohio State is putting it on
31-0
with 9 minutes left in the second quarter.
Yeah. Did I mention the Longhorns have to play the best they've ever played every play next week to even have a chance at the end? Yeah. Anyway, that's it. We're done. What are you going to do? So
what do you say?
There's nothing to say. It's crazy. I'm actually going to spend a week in New Orleans next month, right there in that same area where that asshole did that last night. Got a business seminar we're going to for the line guys. Cool. Yeah. So I'll be hosting from Bourbon Street. I'll be doing In the Building from New Orleans.
Yeah, I know how Mike get with a couple in him. It don't take much, so that should be some fun shows.
Well, it's a business trip. I'm going with my boss. So professionalism.
It's gonna be fun.
We'll have some fun. And I've got some past stories from New Orleans back when I was not with my boss. And I've had out of body experiences in New Orleans where I was hovering over myself, watching myself.
Some children you don't know about?
No. If that's a thing, he or she lives down in Jamaica.
Oh yeah,
unless his mama was able to get a green card.
Yeah.
After all these
years. No, that story sucks. We'll talk about it more tomorrow.
It's awful, man. It sucks, and it's bullshit. And I totally get why they postponed the game. There's the city's shocked. The investigation's in the middle of going on all over this area, and some of the dead could have been fans in town for the game. So who knows how this plays out? So it just sucks. All right, Maria and Rudy will have Longhorn postgame next Saturday.
Next Friday. The game
is it Friday? Okay.
Friday at 6:30 is the game.
Oh, I'll be damned. Okay, well, they're playing. They're playing the Buckeyes. I can guarantee that.
You don't think the Buckeyes going to lay down in the second half?
No, because they don't have Quinn Ewers at quarterback. They're going to keep laying it to the woodshed. They don't have a guy who's out there just being a robot. Jesus. I would rather have the kid that Ohio State's got at quarterback, Howard. That guy's he plays for that swagger that I like, man. All right, we'll do postgame next Friday night, apparently. And we got In the Building tomorrow on Love You Hard TV. Thank you, man. Thanks for coming over. Appreciate everybody.
Hook 'em.
I want them to win. That's why I get mad when they don't play great.
And A&M, y'all are still the guy that people only hang around with because he has money.
Oh, why you get it? What was that? Let the Aggies die. Let the Aggies. They're in their grave. Later. It's this.
Is it? Okay, whatever.
Bye.